What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Art of War Hangout and Hobby. I am John Lennon. This is Richard Siegler. We are here to talk shop and paint 40k.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to be working on some bases for Archaeoraptor Futilovs, one of the best flyers in the game, in my opinion.
Indeed it is.
John, what are you working on?
I am painting some Invictor Tactical Warsuits, the best tactical warsuit in the game.
Is it really?
I think it is. I think this is the best tactical warsuit in the game. It's definitely not the best Dreadnought, but it's the best tactical warsuit. We are just working on the literally never-ending project to get all of the Space Marines painted, because by golly are there a lot of Space Marines. And we'll be using these wonderful Invictors in tomorrow's game on YouTube. That'll be featuring Ultramarines against the forces of the Drukari.
That's exciting.
Absolutely. Ultramarines are always hype, new codex is always hype, which means this game is double the hype. I'm ready for it.
How do you feel about Ultramarines into Drukari? The Drukari menace?
I think Drukari are bad for Space Marines, but Invictors and Redeploy gives Ultramarines a little more play than the average bear. So I'm hoping that this will be enough to come up the Xenos menace.
Also, you have Gilliman. And Gilliman just does not yield.
Goleman, he does not yield at all. He does not tolerate fools, he does not yield. This is a zero tolerance policy for elf, I don't care what anyone says. Zero tolerance for elves. That's Goleman.
Let's see. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. John, can you sell me on 5-man Repentia units or 5-girl Repentia units?
Absolutely I can. Well, I can't sell you on units, but I can sell you on one of them. Think of all the times you use your Repentia. Think of all the times you overkill something and die anyway. That's why you have 5-girl Repentia units. It lets you put an extra squad in a Rhino, because a 9-girl squad just kind of stops anyone else from really getting in the bus other than random characters. But a 5-girl Repentia squad will still let you fit in something like a Retributor squad or 5 Sisters of Battle. As well, 5 Repentia is the perfect size for killing things that are too small to merit less Repentia.
10 guardsmen on objective.
Exactly. Sometimes with Sisters of Battle, I have found that the typical Bloody Rose Lift struggles to kill small things that aren't worth the effort, where sometimes something just needs to die. You know, like you've got 10 guardsmen stretched across 2 objectives. You cannot let that be there. You know, that's potentially 10 primary points for your opponent, but also Sisters shooting sometimes struggles with the light stuff if you've built your list in a certain way, and maybe it's turn 1 and you don't really want to drop Seraphim on this because, well, if you drop Seraphim, you can't do that turn 1. You know, they're in reserve. Or let's say, you know, you don't want to bring out your Retributors because they're a bigger fish to fry. Like there's 10 commanders out of line of sight. You don't want to bust out your, you know, your multi-melter Retributors purely to kill these 10 guardsmen, but also it just has to get done. 5 Repentia are the perfect tool for that job. So I still endorse 2 big units of Repentia, but that third one I don't think needs to be quite as big, because at least 1 Repentia unit goes after something small at some point in the game, in my experience. So 5 Repentia, the secret sauce.
How do you feel about Nick's sister's list?
It's pretty solid. I like it. I'm kind of waiting on us to get points for the Palatine. I was waiting on rules, but then they decided to only give us rules and not points. So now I'm waiting on points for the Palatine. I know Nick really loves his pure Bloody Rose. I kind of want a little bit more stuff in the list, and I think that you can. Frankly, I don't think you need the Mortifiers. I don't.
Really? After you?
No, I like Mortifiers. I just don't like 3. I can endorse 9, but 3 is not my number. So I would kind of want to cut that and just add a little more stuff. But it's still a very, very solid list. Obviously, he won the Tables and Towers GT with that Sisters army. And I believe he's going to be playing that. Well, he's going to be playing Sisters again. He's playing Sisters again sometime soon, right?
And the RTT that's coming up, John.
The Streamhouse RTT.
Another Streamhouse RTT. John is the defending champion.
That's true. I've been holding on to my crown for a couple months, but I've decided, being, you know, the generous winner that I am, to let everyone else have another chance to lose to me. We are running it back, doing another Streamhouse RTT, defending the title.
And if you want more details on that, we are going to be releasing all sorts of videos very soon. And that is going to include a promo video for our Gleam campaign where you can go win up to $3,000 worth of prizes. There's all sorts of cool stuff. Army Painter Mega Paint set, Big Bear 3D set that we use on our stream games, an exclusive version. And then there's also, like, you know, War Room access. There's exclusive coaching calls with myself and Nick or John and Brad.
Yep.
So lots and lots of good stuff. Table war mats, warp fire, gift vouchers, tons and tons of stuff. So if you want any of that, the details are going to be out soon, but lots and lots of prizes and opportunities.
Yes,
so we'll be sharing links very soon.
Very excited for that. The first videos will be going live on YouTube tomorrow. So that is on this very channel. And also, I believe you can find a challenge bracket right now.
Yep.
That's going to tell you what the pairings are, as well as what the factions are. But the individual lists are coming in the breakdown videos that we are putting on YouTube. And again, the first one is coming out tomorrow. And the first game is just in 6 days.
Yeah, it's on Tuesday. Cannot wait for that.
Coming up hot. It's coming up quickly.
Can Phobos units come out of strategic reserve the same turn they went in via guerrilla tactics?
Yes, they can. It's as simple as no one told them not to, quite frankly. There's no limit whatsoever that you cannot enter strategic reserve the same turn you arrive from it. There's nothing in that rule that says you can't. Certainly it's not a common interaction, but it's just kind of what they do. And it's pretty cool. It's something that I've used several times with my various Phobos units. It's why I make sure to have a bare minimum of one Phobos squad in every single Marine list I write at this point. Every time I don't take one, I just end up like wishing I had a guerrilla tactics in my pocket. So that's what I'm sticking to.
Honestly, outside of transhuman, that might be the most used strat that Space Marines have.
It's so good, yeah. I mean, transhuman is obviously very powerful.
Yeah.
No complaints.
I think those are 1 and 2.
No complaints there.
Tasig's letting you know the YouTube match for tomorrow is scheduled for today, right now, in case you want to fix it. It doesn't have tomorrow's date in the. It does have tomorrow's date in the thumbnail. Thank you, Lyle. I will check on that in just a second and make sure that that is not the case.
Yep, and if it is, we'll edit it. Thanks for pointing that out.
Scheduled for, it is scheduled for today.
Oh,
awesome.
Ouch.
Going to fix that.
Yep.
There's also a bunch of questions.
Tomorrow, April 1st, I promise, folks.
Early April Fool's joke from John here.
Yeah, that's what that is. Totally an April Fool's joke. Haha.
Can we edit the date? Yes. Perfecto. Done. Thank you, Lyle.
Yep, thanks for pointing that out.
Appreciated.
Oopsie.
Now, the misconception strategy: never interfere with an enemy that is self-evidently destroying itself. Not wrong there.
Yep. It's honestly, that is a pretty decent piece of advice. If someone is making a mistake, do not stop them. You know, I mean, maybe in real life you do, but not Warhammer.
Even in Warhammer, I do. You know, people coming into a heroic range that they're not aware, like the Custodes strat.
Okay, yeah.
Stuff like that.
Well, that's the knowledge mistakes. When people are playing wrong, so you keep going.
Great to catch you guys live. Much better than magnetizing racks, that's for sure. You are a brave
Who is
brave
magnetizing
person.
racks?
Wow.
Who is
Just stick all the liquefier guns on there and worry about that later.
Yep, that's
when they get nerfed. It's great game with the Tau against Death Guard. Have Death Guard, but first love was Tau. You're going to use it in the upcoming RTT. Nick did indeed spoil it during the game, but yes, I am using that exact list in the RTT.
Exact list.
Yep, that exact list, and it's fresh off a victory against Nick's Death Guard list, which has done really well in tournaments. So,
yeah,
you know, very pleased with how the list performed. It's just a list that scores points regardless of what your opponent's doing, and it has a lot of killing power, but apparently it doesn't need to use much of it.
Yeah, you know, you didn't end up killing too much of the Death Guard army, but you also weren't exactly punished for that fact.
I got rid of the OPSEC, and that was important.
That does matter a lot. Killed most of those Poxwalkers?
Most of them besides that one unit.
Yeah, just that one unit on the flank?
Yep.
I spent a couple turns hiding reserve anyway, so.
Good afternoon, gents. Glad I can finally catch a hangout and hobby sesh. Siegs, with your extensive experience, what is your favorite Necrons build, Silent King or Catan Shards? I think both of those builds are going to struggle in this current meta. I think the main reason the Silent King build is going to struggle is because Drukari is pretty brutal into 20 warriors or into the Silent King himself because they have access to fight first and fight last. So if they don't have any fight first easily accessible, even they can potentially beat the Silent King's leadership, especially with modifiers, force them to fight last, and then they get to activate first because it's their turn based on the rare rules interaction. That's unfortunate, and honestly, Drukari have that stuff all over the place. Yep. Kind of insane how much fight first and fight last they have. And then the volume of attacks that they put out, and they have fight twice for 2 CP on witch units, that's not what Warriors want to see.
No, not at all. So. I was personally surprised to see the combination of fight first and fight last so prevalent in that codex. Because you don't see both of them
Yeah.
often.
Usually it's one or the other, or it's locked. If they get both, it's locked behind very special things. Like, for instance, Necrons have both, but the fight first is locked to Orican, the Diviner,
Yep.
and then the fight last is Silent King or a Sawtek relic. And that's it.
They've got easy access to both. They've got multiple sources of each.
So that's tough, honestly. On the Catan shard, I think AdMech you lose. Frankly. If they have any amount of bombers and Fulgurite Electropriests, plus the auto-explode strat, AdMech do damage in every single phase pretty much, besides Psychic, but they don't even need Psychic because they do it in so many other phases, and your turn. So I think they can kill Catan shards whenever they want. I played a game against Oryx against Gaz a little while back, and same case. It was like, I actually don't need to kill Gaz because I'll kill him in whatever turn I want him to, so I'll just kill all the rest of your army and wait for Gaz to come near me.
Quite rude.
So,
quite rude, I say.
That means they could kill all 3 Catan shards in a turn if they want to, and that's your army.
Yeah, that's too much.
I don't think you can go into a tournament with that bad of a matchup, especially with the AdMech Codex on the horizon. Maybe a lot of those rules change significantly and we can reevaluate, but current AdMech, I think that's the worst matchup Triple Catan has. Sieg's dual Tesseract Vault list. No, Corey, no, not again. The Tesseract Vault.
The vaults, not the arcs.
The vaults.
The vaults.
The vaults.
Dual,
the 500 point gigantic unit that you can't hide.
No, you don't need to hide it.
No, you can't.
You also didn't need to play Dawn War.
That's no. I cannot abide by the Tesseract Vault, even though it's such a cool model. It honestly, you play against Sisters and it's just gone. Almost every Sisters list is running 10 to 15 multi-melted Retributors.
Yeah.
They make short work of those things, unfortunately.
No, they really do.
Yeah, you go second and they just pop them all out. Load up on Miracle Dice, double the range of one.
Get the extra damage. Yep. It can get ugly pretty
Missile
fast.
or Pension Squad at you too, for good measure.
Just to make sure.
Just to make sure. I don't know, you want reasonably cheap units now all over the board that can do damage. I mean, that was what that Tau list is about. It has damage in a lot of different places, and then it has a couple key units like the Riptide and the Airburst, which also want to survive into the late game and get me while we stand points. But a lot of the rest of the army is just little toolkit damage.
Yeah.
Like the Breachers.
If you were going to a tournament right now, I mean a tournament with only one list, would you bring Tau or AdMech?
I bring Tau.
You'd bring the Tau?
I bring the Tau. I love the Tau.
Oh my goodness, folks.
I would bring the Tau.
Madness.
Those Remors are really annoying for AdMech.
Yeah, Remors are pretty annoying in general, yeah.
Yeah, well, because they can trap the tank castle.
Just by move blocking?
Yeah, by move blocking.
Yeah, I can see that being quite frustrating.
And then obviously they count as in cover when being shot at something AdMech hates and their minuses to hit.
Yeah.
So
I am very happy that you're bringing Remores. I have always been hype on the Remores.
They're such a cool model. I hadn't painted one before, but you see the images and they don't look that big. They look like, this is, a couple drones put together size, but it's actually, they're quite massive.
It's a little chunky.
And they are amazing screens for your Airburst Crisis unit.
Yep.
Also the Graph Drone.
Yeah, Graph Drone. So who'd have thought? That's a thing.
Nice. Can't wait to see the matchups. Can't wait to see that played. Keep it up, Art of War 40K. Thank you so much, RJ.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your support. Hey, have you seen the crazy Cav pony list from the weekend? Is it worth going into? We, in fact, are going to have that list and its pilot on the Art of War podcast this week, breaking down the list.
I think it's actually next week.
Next week?
I think
soon on the Art of War podcast.
Soon on the Art of War podcast, for sure.
But we are going to get Tyler on the Art of War podcast, breaking down that ponies list. We've talked about it on here.
Yep.
It's just very efficient units.
I love it. I just don't want to go buy that many ponies because I never know how long that's going to last.
Now, to be fair, I did buy almost all the AdMech ponies, so I do have enough to run.
Well, I have 20 guard ponies.
20 guard.
21 maybe. That listed 41 though. It's like, ooh,
yeah.
Man.
So you just go heavier on the AdMech side.
Yeah, and man, it is really solid though.
But yeah, I mean, Imperium is just such a great toolkit.
Absolutely, you have so many different ways to soup, and they're all fantastic.
Yeah. Custodes and guard. You saw guard AdMech. And sisters and guard, like it's all good.
Oh yeah, there's nothing bad here.
So those 10 Terminators I said I ordered arrived yesterday. Joining you in hobby building up some sweet Emperor's Children Terminators. Mark Perry would be proud because
Absolutely.
He is running a bunch of them.
I love the Emperor's Children Terminators. I just think they're super good, super competitive. I'm always happy to see them.
They have underperformed at damage though in the games that we've played.
Yeah, they have a little bit,
Especially
but they're
against
still very-
Custodes. You're just like, turn out the rerolls. And, okay,
Yeah.
1 CP interrupt over here, 2 CP over there. Get wrecked.
Those interrupts.
The Custodes do interrupt better than anybody.
Mm-hmm. They also heroic. 0.99 inches better than anyone.
0.9. I still think that's just...
That's my favorite.
They
though.
didn't realize.
No, not at all. They're just like, what if we make this one stratagem worded different? It'll do the same thing, though, right? Yeah, it's going to do the same thing. We're just going to write it different. Okay.
So it doesn't do the same thing.
Sure does.
Hold on. Messed up. I am bringing it to the Dallas GT. 2 vaults. You are a brave, brave person, Corey, but I admire you.
It's a brave soul, but you know what? You're not even doing it for the Emperor. I can't be proud of you.
It's for the Silent King, though. I mean, come
Who?
on. He is the king.
What a punk.
He's the king.
Punk, I say.
He slayed Gilliman. He's the only thing to take him
No,
down.
he didn't.
He did.
That was the next Gilman.
He has the scalp of Gilliman on his base.
That's why my Gilman wore the helmet. No scalping here.
Hi guys, just saying thanks for doing Hangout Hobby. Here to listen. Welcome Artemis. Thank you so much for your support and glad you were able to join us.
Glad you could make it.
What's the best Chaos builds right now? Great question.
I like Soup. I actually really like Mark Perry's Emperor's Children and Death Guard with like Mortarion in it. Another thing that will perhaps be featured dun, 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 in the upcoming Streamhouse RTT. I really like that build. I think it's really cool, really flexible, has good damage, is built a little bit better than Mono Death Guard for handling Dark Eldar. But that's something I really want to test on the table. But it's very possible that will happen at some point in this RTT.
Definitely.
That bracket's lined up, it's on the same half of the Dark Eldar. If it can make it past the Admech, and maybe if the Dark Angels are like merciful and allow the Drukari to continue, they're just sleeping in the rock.
The Drukari are they've got a tough bracket.
They do. They're on the hard side, as they should be.
What are we working on today? I'm working on some Archaeoraptor Fuselaw bases,
Mm-hmm.
and then John is working on some Invictor war suits.
Invictor tactical war suits.
How tactical are these war suits, John?
Excuse you. They are extremely tactical.
Are they tactical?
These are extremely tactical war suits. They're masters of the Codex Astartes, which says deploy 9 inches away unless you go first, then run up to them. And if you go second, redeploy.
Redeploy.
Spend 2 command points.
Redeploy is still great, but underutilized right now.
Yeah, I think that's because Eldar got a lot less popular recently.
Yeah.
Because they weren't doing well, and now they're kind of starting to be resurgent. We see, Sean Naden and some other noteworthy people starting to get the Eldar in, and then of course Dark Eldar getting a new Codex. There's reason to be excited as an elf.
And our friend and Hangout hobbyist, Matt Laura.
Ooh.
Yeah. He had done well with Eldar with those links.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. The links and the racks. Oh my goodness, the 80 profs of flesh racks. I thought we were free of that, and then someone mentioned me yeah, I think I can still run 80 profs of flesh racks. I think that's still pretty good. I'm just like, why? Make it end. Let it stop.
Yeah, well, with the liquefier guns, and you're like,
Oh god, yeah. Well, Prophets of Flesh is for that
Dark
almost
Technomancy.
transhuman.
Yeah.
But honestly, you still might take liquefier guns. They're not bad guns.
Yeah, I would just take them.
Normally. They're just
Even without
better.
+1.
Yeah, if you happen to be Dark Technomancer.
Alright, now I'm working on a Tau Commander, an XV8 Flamer Commander. And I happen to actually have a Flame Commander.
Interesting. That's well timed. Considering this gentleman is also part of the RTT, right?
He's going to be part of the RTT.
I am sad that these Invictors are not part of the RTT, to be honest. I didn't have enough time to choose between Dark Angels and Ultramarines. Didn't have enough time to practice the Ultramarines for this one. So I went with what I had already practiced. I knew that the Dark Angels were pretty darn good, so we went there. We kept it safe. But I really feel like there might be something going on with this Ultramarine list, and I'm very excited to see the final form.
John, thoughts on the Galadis Dreads versus Shield Wall?
Oh, they're both great. Let's be clear here. Anyone holding a shield is a winner in my eyes.
Gold armor.
In gold armor, of course. Yeah, Chaos doesn't get shields. They left their shields at the door when they betrayed the Emperor. I like the Galadis just because I love my Dreadnoughts, and I feel like they just have a different role. They hit harder than a couple Custodes Guard, and I don't want to spend that many points on a Custodes unit that's not a Telemon. The Custodes Guard are great for holding ground, but I feel like they don't do as much damage.
Yeah,
And
they're not really for the damage.
No, and I wanted to have a little bit more damage in this army, and the Dreadnoughts I think do that better. You know, you got your nice flat 3 damage, you got your higher strength. Still a good weight of attacks coming in from them. I just, for what this list was trying to do, I really liked what the Dreadnoughts brought more than the Shield Wall. Because the Guard brings some efficient damage in different directions, but it's not just overwhelming turn after turn damage.
No.
It's not enough to just stop people from trying to hit you. Sisters can do that, because they can really put a punch in. But Guard isn't trying to do that as much. It's relentless chip damage. Okay. Is really what I'm going for. So I needed a little bit more punch to complement the Guard aspect here. Yeah. Definitely think what ally you take to your Custodes shapes what direction you want to push it in. But I'm not opposed to the Shield Wall in any form.
John, how does the Custodes heroic intervention strat work?
Oh my god, this again. Alright. So if you use the Custodes heroic intervention strat, whose name escapes me, you immediately perform a heroic intervention, but you must end within 1 inch of the enemy. So you skip the am I eligible to perform a heroic intervention. Normally you're like, ooh, can I do a heroic? Let me check. Am I within 3 inches of the enemy? Okay, no, I'm not. I'm not going to heroic. So if your opponent's 3.1 away, nothing happens. But this is skip all of that, perform a heroic intervention, make that 3-inch move, but you have to end it within 1 inch of the enemy. So if someone's 3.5 inches away from you, you normally couldn't heroic, but you pop the Custodes strat and suddenly it's like, ooh, look at that. Now I'm in range.
I move 3 and then
I'm within 3 and then I'm within 1 inch. Like, done. That's all the strat asks for. It's a beautiful thing, I think.
Is there an actual meta, or is the mission design so simple right now that gaps between the top tier and trash tier is neglectable?
There's a lot to dive into with that one.
Neglectable as long as you play the mission. I feel everything is somehow viable at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think that the missions are too simple, frankly. I like the current mission set a good amount. Everything has room for improvement, but it's certainly a pretty good mission pack as far as the history of 40k is concerned. I do think that the gap between top tier and trash tier is more narrow than it has been when it comes to playing the mission. Because even the bad armies, again, we look at Tau and Dark Eldar before their Codex and Craftworld Eldar, still can win games by designing lists around the mission. And with a good pilot, that is 100% enough to beat perhaps an A-tier army like Death Guard.
Sorry for skipping your question, Matt. Hey guys, where do you think Knights fall at the moment?
Ooh, man, I love my Knights. Honestly, I think Pure Knights are actually pretty decent, but you're still going to run into the problem with Pure Knights where every once in a while you just hit a matchup or a table that is utterly toxic to what you're trying to do and you lose. If you're willing to accept that, you have a more likely chance than a normal army of hitting that scenario. Knights fit pretty decent in the meta. Not a lot of people are teching to kill them. They're great damage output into elite armies. Specifically, the Crast build with Triple Majera and 4 Armigers I think is super, super solid. I've played it on stream. I love that army. I think it's very, very fun. But you do kind of have to accept, like, if I happen to pair into Triple Exorcist with a lot of ruins with windows, I just don't have a game. Yeah. Like, there are a couple scenarios where I can just lose. And that's okay. You know, if you're doing Pure Knights, I think you kind of accept that I'm bringing an unbalanced army, and an unbalanced army will occasionally find itself in an unbalanced spot. That's part of the deal.
Nice to geek out with the legends of the game. Don't understand why you guys don't have more followers when you're literally at the pinnacle of the game.
Appreciate the kind words.
Super kind of you. You know, we're still building up the channel. We haven't had, we only started Art of War last year, and there hasn't been a real full 40k season.
That is a thing.
So we're still getting there.
But we're growing, and as long as we keep moving up, I'm happy.
We're putting in the work, and
that we are.
A lot of new people are following the channel every day, so we really appreciate your support.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
Why didn't you take White Scars? Seems like you still think they're the best. Seems like a self-handicap.
I'm burnt out on White Scars, just objectively. Since there hasn't been a real tournament season, I kind of stopped playing them because I played them back to back to back to back. I played so many games with them. I like working on different armies. Also, I do think that White Scars are going to struggle a lot with the new Dark Eldar Codex, and I don't think it's unsolvable, but it would be probably a pretty decently different playstyle than what I had been working on previously. So I think for this tournament, I brought Dark Angels because one, they're new, they're very solid, and I've gotten some more reps with them recently. Also, I think that they have to change less to try to deal with Dark Eldar. We'll see what changes I ended up making, but I thought that Dark Eldar are going to be pretty bad for this specific playstyle that Marines favored before, like the Blood Angel and the White Scar jump pack armies that were very successful. I think that those style armies really needed to change their plan into Dark Eldar, because I didn't have a great transport killing plan other than go up and punch it, and that is
Then a bunch of witches step out.
that's bad. That's not what you do. That is not how you beat Dark Eldar. It is not by walking up to the boats while there are witches inside.
I think for the third RTT, you guys need to all agree to play lists you wish were good, but you know aren't top 2, top 8 lists. Mix it up a little. Hey, I'm playing Tau. I'm getting there.
I would love to just like completely switch up what armies we were doing sometime. Like playing like we do an RTT, but we can only play an army we haven't played on stream in the last 3 months. Where like I start bringing out like Gene Stealer Cult. Nick busts out the Imperial Guard. I'd love to see Nick on Imperial Guard.
We just shoot a lot.
They're good at it, though.
They are good, but that's what Nick doesn't like.
That's true. He doesn't like that they're mostly shooting. Nick does not respect the firepower. Problem is that Nick likes to take naps, and big guns never tire.
I'm with you on the vulnerability of the Warriors now, Siegler. Looking at trying at least 5x5 units of Immortals. I think the MSU approach is the way to go. I actually like Ghost Stars with 10 Warriors inside. Mm-hmm. I think transports are kind of the way to go for Necrons right now.
Yeah, transports are super solid. Always a good choice.
And then obviously you do OBSEC, and then fall back and shoot.
Yep. And that's on all the vehicles, right?
Yep, that's on the vehicles.
That's pretty strong.
So...
Sounds like something my Ultramarines could do.
Don't have Tesseract Arcs, though, which I think are the long-range shooting you want.
Yeah, Tesseract, the Tesseract Arc, that is really, really cool. Unfortunately, it's 4th world.
Yeah, it's really hard to get.
It's a little bit harder to acquire than I would prefer.
Was John not allowed to bring Scars to the RTT and Sieg's not allowed to take Krons?
No, I think we just made the choices that we made. We were allowed to take whatever we wanted. Sieg was just really hyped up about the new AdMech rules, right?
Yep, new AdMech rules. Really love Forge World Metallica. Excited to run them, and then really excited about playing Tau.
Yeah, and I did not want to double dip on the Space Marines, and I've been playing a lot more with Dark Angels recently than White Scars.
I don't know. I think Necrons are feeling their age right now for the book. It wasn't amazing to start. Like, nothing was broken in the Necron Codex.
Mm-hmm. And
then Dark Angels and Death Guard got silly secondaries and great durability boosts. And then Drukari just got everything in the world.
Everything else. Drukari got everything except secondaries.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. Their secondaries are
Purge the Vermin
nothing crazy.
Equivalent isn't bad, but it's
not bad. But
it's in the same category that they max engage on.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You normally only get like a 13 or 14 on engage on fronts of Dark Eldar.
Yeah.
So, like, giving that away
yeah.
is hard. Turn 1, you usually only get like 3/4. A nice modest turn 1 from the Dark Eldar, unless they're actively trying to table you.
Yeah.
Which sometimes they just do and get a 15. Painting up 3 Hexmark destroyers.
Oh my gosh, to kill the Warriors after the Annihilation Barges knock down the Raiders. That's 2 units, the Annihilation Barge and the Hexmark destroyers, which have been questionable.
Yeah, now
overall. But thank you so much for that $10 super chat. Really appreciate it. Honestly, I think the
one Hexmark destroyer a lot.
The 1 Hexmark is great for denying things like Scramblers, but in the stream house, nobody's taken Scramblers in a while.
I still do.
You still do?
I still like to.
I don't know. I think I've beaten it out of Nick because he got a bunch of zeros.
As have I.
Yeah. So he's
giving up on Scramblers.
And I just don't like risking it. I'd rather get the safe like 6-8 points out of something like Banners than getting a 0.
I'll risk it for the biscuit, no problem.
You will risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah. I have to ask though, what the Annihilation Barge, what are the stats on its guns? Is it strength 7 AP dash damage too?
I believe so, yes.
It's not bad in the Dark Eldar transports if you're trying to knock them out of the sky.
No, I think it, and especially if the meta switches towards more horde based.
That could be interesting right there.
It's also another gunboat that has reasonably durable with quantum shielding.
Yeah, that's always strong. And again, in that same list, the fallback and shoot custom dynasty. That's also very potent.
We actually have them, and I would love to add them plus some Tesseract arcs together as the shooting platforms.
Interesting.
While the Ghost arcs and the Warriors hold down the objectives.
I'd like to see what that looks like on the table.
There. I don't know about 3 Hexmark destroyers. That's ambitious.
Yeah,
but
I think
one's
a good
I respect
number.
it.
That's true. Like it's like triple Kellamorph. I wouldn't do it, but I will not complain if someone does.
It's just hilarious. It's like, oh, you're playing against 180 boys? Well, perfect. 3 Hexmark destroyers. That's all you need. But no, I think if you're really taking hard for the Drukari, I think those are some great options.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's worth exploring all the other options in there besides regular destroyers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mess with that. Thoughts on Talos? They don't seem great.
I agree. Unfortunately, I think Talos are one of the few duds in this new Drukari codex, and they're still not bad. I think it's just a comparison between Talos and the other units in the Dark Eldar codex, and it just really doesn't make sense. Unfortunately, you can get so much for the points cost of a Talos. It's hard to justify them, I think. Because, Talos is about the same points as like a 10 girl strong squad of witches, like with a weapon. Like 110 gets you, 10 witches with a Shard Knight Impaler. And that feels better than a Talos.
Yeah. Pretty much every single time.
Yep. Because then for that second Talos, because you don't want one Talos, right? One Talos doesn't do much. For that second Talos, it's now a Raider to put them in and also some spare points. Suddenly that just adds up very quickly, where 6 Talos or 3 Raiders with 3 squads of witches, and also probably enough points to get like another small unit, like 5 racks in there. And I just don't think that the damage output that Talos put out, as decent as it is, I don't think it lines up with what the rest of the book can do, unfortunately. Which is a pity. Talos and Grotesques are some of my absolute favorite Dark Eldar units, but I think that both of those are taking a sideline for now, compared to some of the other options that Dark Eldar have. We will see, though. We will see how that develops.
Let's see. You got to magnetize your racks, even though almost no one can recognize Dark Eldar weapons. Almost all the Xenos weapons, like people.
Oh yeah, Tyranid weapons. You kidding me?
This is the Barbed Strangler.
Oh, yeah.
Is it though?
I magnetize my Tyranids out of habit, but quite frankly, there are a lot of things that I think I could get away with if, like a Barbed Strangler versus a Venom Thorn Cannon, or Venom Cannon is it's a pretty small difference, if we're being honest here. Or like whether or not a model has Toxin Sacks.
Well, for Tau, they got rid of all the Battlesuit War Gear options have particular pieces, but they got rid of actually naming which were which.
Okay. Fantastic.
But you can still find the actual velocity tracker piece if you want to. Also, Space Marines don't need another book, but when are Games Workshop going to find out what to do with Imperial Fists? I have 2,000 points of them, and they feel like they don't have appropriate rules.
Yeah, they gave you one really broken thing, and then they took it away because it's really broken, and there just wasn't a plan B in that codex, unfortunately. I don't know. I imagine GW will put out codex supplements at some point. I don't know when that would be, and frankly, I'm not in a huge hurry to find out. Space Marines are dropping off a little bit in the meta, but they're still very much in the I'm comfortable with their current rules spot. They definitely don't need a buff at the moment. They're not the dominant force that they probably were, 5 to 6 months ago, but they don't need any help, really. They just accept that you're not the single best army in the game, and that's okay. Imperial Fists, unfortunately, are the bottom of the Space Marine barrel, I think. You lean into the 9 attack bikes, maybe get yourself some Storm of Fire, and on the reroll 1s to hit and wound Captain. You can do a decent amount with an Imperial Fist gunline, probably based around that, like some Dreadnoughts.
It's definitely an uphill battle.
It's definitely an uphill battle.
Because you're competing with other Marine sub-factions.
And that's always the hardest part, yeah. Because if you're going to try to build a more shooty-based army, you can argue that Dark Angels or Ultramarines or Iron Hands do it better.
40k is growing. Give it time. Look at Tabletop Titans. Took a while to grow presentation. Jeff definitely helps in today's landscape. Yeah, I mean, it takes a while to build up a channel. These things don't happen overnight, especially not in a game like 40k.
Do not. 40k is cool, but it is not StarCraft or quite on that scale yet. But we can cross our
Speaking of
fingers and
StarCraft,
hope, right?
we're becoming StarCraft streamers.
Oh, absolutely. Let's get it. Watch me get obliterated night after night. Richard just maniacally laughing. It's like, John, you fool.
John, make sure you hotkeys, John.
Thank you.
It's the hotkeys every time.
It's not the hotkeys every
You're
time.
killing me
the
on the
hotkeys
scrolling across the screen.
I'm getting better.
Is
You're working with a noob here. You need to understand that.
I've been helping them.
Yeah.
Is Double Redemptor and 2 Relic Contemptor with Chain Fist and Plasma Blasters in White Scars viable with some of the new meta changes?
Honestly, yes. I actually think though that I would put 1 Volkite on those Contemptors, just to have a little more shooty if you need it. Which is unfortunate because I want to be all melee all the time, of course, but that is just not perhaps the reality that we live in. I really want to experiment with a more Dreadnought-involved White Scar list. I actually have acquired 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts very recently. So that is one of the things that I'm really looking forward to getting painted on the table. That'll probably be my next project. Once I'm, maybe next week on the paint stream, you might see me working on building and magnetizing some Redemptor Dreadnoughts. This week, however, it is Invictor Warsuits all day, every day. Although they are coming along quite nicely. I'm quite happy with how quickly these things are going.
Yeah.
It's the late night hours.
Sigler, nice job beating down Nick with your Tau yesterday. Appreciate that. I plan to beat down Nick many more times with the Tau. With a 60% win rate, where would you rank Harlequins?
You know, good win rate, but I feel like that's a ton of 3 and 2s and not a lot of 5 and 0s. Like, I don't know. I think Harlequins are just above average and can beat a lot of armies, but they're just going to struggle into some of the top tier stuff. Where I think that a lot of players can take them and do a better than 50% win rate, and I think this is more like almost everyone who plays them is winning 60% of their games. This isn't the average person is winning 50% of their games, and a couple of outliers are winning so many games that it skews the percentage. I just think that Harlequins win 60% of the time, but for me, and I'm sure for Richard as well, going 3 and 2 is just not the goal. Like going 3 and 2 is a 60% win rate, but I don't see that I don't see 3 and 2 as a particularly successful event by my standards. If that's your goal, by all means, that's happy met it. But I don't think that Harlequins are as good as their win rate would suggest.
I think you saw it in the game against the Triple Catan that we played like 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. My list was in total control pretty much the entire game, starting turn 1.
Yeah.
And Nick was able to keep it close, though, through all the different Harlequin strats and the movement jank and the mobility of the army. So if you make any sort of mistakes on my part, I could have just lost that game anyway, even though I got into a really comfortable spot. So I think their speed, mobility, and the different stratagem tricks that they have, moving into transports, going into combat, consolidating away.
They're definitely
that lets you outplay a lot of people, especially people who don't have experience playing against Harlequins, which is most people, because Harlequins are a pretty rare army to face.
I would agree.
I don't know why Stiegler shows up in human form, and we all know he's really a tech priest, Dominus. Just a Dominus?
What do you think you are? You think you're an Archmagos?
Archmagos, of course.
Archmagos Belisarius Siegs.
Gotta be an Archmagos.
Belisarius.
I've been around for so long, John.
That's true. You are ancient and never age. So
I am plugged into all the mainframes.
In 100 years, Richard will look exactly the same. We're all going like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
But
really,
hold on.
You see the old etched wood, cuts of me.
Yep. Wait a minute.
Do you think Drukari have an easy matchup versus resilient armies like Death Guard?
Yes. I think that most of those resilient armies are so kind of, I'm going to just follow my plan, and Dark Eldar are really good at disrupting other people's plans. Dark Eldar play on the fly really well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it's sometimes hard to just follow a single preset path the way the Death Guard and a standard Dark Angel list like to. It's kind of hard to do that into Dark Eldar, I think. But that's also one that we haven't tested, so that is purely a theory answer. We are going to try to find...
Definitely.
We're going to try to find results on the tabletop.
Question for both of you. You have to win a Warhammer game to save the world. You don't know who or what you'll face. What faction do you choose?
Dark Elder. Unfortunately, it's Nick also playing Dark Elder to end the world.
Dark Elder versus Dark Elder. Magical matchup. That's going to be a bizarre mirror matchup.
I don't even want to know what a Dark Elder versus Dark Elder game looks like. It's like the Harlequin mirror. It's like, I don't
Whoever
know.
took more shooting to kill the transports quicker.
That would be my guess, is kill the transports, have a better shot.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It was
though.
like Iron Hands versus Iron Hands back in 8th edition.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we have a Leviathan, you don't. Guess we
That
just
was-
win.
That was kind of our game plan, yeah. Here we go. Grab some blue paint.
How do you beat the broken Iron Hands? You bring in more broken Iron Hands.
It worked.
For me, I would... If I was playing right now, I don't have any reps with Dark Elder. I don't think they're unbeatable.
They're not.
So...
Yeah, I don't mean to suggest that at all.
If the Admech Codex came out and I got to see what was in it, maybe I'd pick Admech. But I'm picking Tau.
Picking Tau
Picking
to
Tau.
save the world?
Save the world, John.
Oh
Put it
my
on
goodness.
the line.
Oh my goodness.
Put it on the line. Let's do it. I'm curious, what in Chaos is good versus Custodes? Is there something I can soup with my Emperor's Children with? Quite like Matt M's Lord of Change Keeper Emperor's Children list.
I think that Mortal Wounds is definitely the answer you're looking for.
Yep. Whatever spams mortal. It doesn't have to be a crazy amount of mortals.
Just
but
enough to really slow them down.
enough to slow them down. And enough to clear screens efficiently so the keepers can run between the gaps. So, people like TJ Lanigan have been running Magnus, Lord of Change, like Aramin's in there, Thousand Suns detachment. Yep. So that's plenty of smites and targeted smites.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get through a lot of things. And Custodes have no patience for that type of stuff.
No.
It's pretty tough when they take that turn after turn.
Yeah, they really cannot afford to do that.
They don't really kill stuff from range.
Not well. They
Not
can
the
get
tough
like
stuff
a
either.
target, but they're not getting like Magnus down in a turn.
Yeah. I've been thinking about bringing out the Night Spinners again for popping raiders out of line of sight. Yeah, they also have a very good profile for killing the raiders.
Yeah, honestly, this is about as good of a meta for Night Spinners as you can ask for. Dark Elder is definitely a good target for them.
Emperor's Children are good into Custodes, but they're not going to... They need help.
Yeah.
Because the ability to turn off rerolls and -1 strength is kind of brutal.
Exactly. Trying to shoot a Telemon to death is literally just not a thing.
No. Even when you pop the reroll wounds and vets, it's just like not enough with the turning off the rerolls.
No, I don't think it is.
It's too much 2-up armor. Like, the Noise Marine part of it doesn't do enough against that.
Yep.
Which is why we saw those big bricks of 20 Noise Marines fall away. You know what kills Drukari Tesseract Vaults? No, Corey, no.
My God.
If I had 2 of them, I would try it, but I feel like Dark Lances are still going to make short work of me.
That's the Liquefier guns.
And the
You're
Liquefier
not -1
guns.
damage, are you?
Liquefier guns.
The liquid.
Not to mention 1 billion attacks in combat from the Razor Flail Succubus.
Yes.
She did 10 damage to a knight with no buffs.
To be clear, that was no buffs on the Succubus.
On the Succubus.
There were buffs on the knight. I cry every time.
Thoughts on the Chronos and Dark Eldar with the Flamers?
It's actually kind of cool. I think it's just a little bit too expensive. Again, it runs into the Talos problem. Although it is cheaper than a Talos. I think that a Chronos is only like 80 after you buy a Liquefier. But it's just a little... too... I don't think it does quite enough. It can kind of heal core models, but Dark Eldar aren't really an army where you're looking to take some casualties and then res the unit back. You're throwing that unit away to do its job, and when it's done, it's done. And you don't plan to get any use out of this unit beyond it launching its attack. That's my take on the Chronos. I think that they do have really cool rules, though, and their price point isn't bad. So there's going to be some lists that use them. I could definitely see that happening. And I hope there is, because the Chronos is also a cool model. And it would give me something to do with my Talos.
They're Chronos now.
They're Chronos now. Surprise.
Surprise Chronos. Maybe 34 years old, but watching the top half of a man who's vigorously shaking up a paint bottle just off camera will never not be funny. That's John's specialty.
Absolutely.
Have you guys looked at the Carcharodon section of AdMech? If so, what do you think? Metallica is awesome. The specialist attachment is too restrictive. That's the hottest of takes.
No, it's actually pretty cool, but it's true.
Yeah.
It is pretty darn accurate.
I really like the Metallica stuff, and I am playing Metallica, little spoiler, in the RTT, but that list is going to be up soon, and you'll get to see why I made the choices that I did.
Absolutely. We are putting videos on our YouTube channel starting tomorrow, every day leading up to Tuesday, April 6th, when we will do round 1 of the Streamhouse RTT. I'm really excited to get that ball going.
Yep, the 4 of us, Nick, myself, John, Mark, all running what we think are some of the best lists in the game into each other in a championship-style bracket. And in addition to that, there are a ton of prizes. There's over $3,000 worth of prizes in our Gleam campaign that is going to go live at midnight tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to our different social media, that of our sponsors, like, follow, subscribe, etc.
All the good
and you'll
stuff.
get entries to win all sorts of prizes like exclusive coaching calls with Nick or myself, or John Lennon and Brad Chester, access to the War Room, Big Bear 3D set that we use on stream, 3D6 objective markers, Warpfire, Indominus box, and gift cards, table war mats.
There's a ton of great stuff being given away here.
Army Painter Mega Paint
I
sets,
wish I
and wet
could win some of
palettes.
this, honestly.
We are legally not allowed to win any of it, John.
I know. I just want to lose some of the prize support on the way to the post office. That's all. We'll find it later.
Find it later. So keep an eye on our social media for all the details on the Streamhouse RTT.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on Wyverns in addition to Manticores to deal with MSU units on objectives?
I love wyverns. I love a wyvern, actually. I don't like wyverns, plural. But I like having one wyvern as an answer. Because sometimes there's something out of line of sight with one wound left, and by golly, you do not want to shoot a manticore at it.
I do. I want you to shoot a man.
No, that's why I like having a wyvern. You know, manticore shots are precious. You run out of ammo. I don't like wasting manticores on fragile things out of line of sight. But if it's 4 servitors on an objective, like, there is legitimate return on killing that. Therefore, wyvern.
Remember all those one-man drone units
Yep.
in my backfield?
That somehow... It wasn't overkill because you just made all your saves.
I just made all the saves.
Brilliant.
At the end of the game against Nick's Death Guard, I was having a feeling like that shielded missile drone was just going to tank all of it.
Yeah.
He tanked one and then went down, but still, enough.
Tanked enough.
If only the explosions of my devilfish didn't kill so many of my drones.
Yeah.
That was just ludicrous.
You got a few of them there.
Would have loved to have them late game.
Those vehicle explosions recently have been quite
Absolutely
humorous.
insane.
Yeah, remember like the night natural blew up?
Nick literally didn't kill a devilfish with one wound because he thought it would explode on his
Well, it would have been the only one that hadn't, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
You were 2 for 2, right?
Yeah, I was 2 for 2.
Yeah. Not worth the risk.
I should have been rolling the repulsor field stratagem for when Nick made charges into me. 6s do mortals.
Just a couple extra 6s. Why not, right?
Warfires giveth and taketh.
No, they just giveth.
If you had to change the shooting profiles of Custodes Axe Spears, would you prefer Pistol 2, Assault 2, or just increasing their rate of fire to Rapid 2?
You know, I would actually take Assault 2 because I hate advancing and doing nothing. But I also like going fast, so I don't like just moving 6 inches a turn. However, I could respect Pistol 2 as well. Get the 2 shots at 24-inch range.
I would do a profile, 2 different profiles.
Oh yeah, that might work.
Just give them options.
Mm-hmm.
Custodes should have the best options. They have some of the best.
Custodes should also just automatically fall back, start to shoot and charge. They're just the most disciplined warriors in the Imperium, and they're never going to stop.
Disciplined shooters.
Disciplined shooters? Oh!
Bringing out the guard references here. That's a great name for a regiment.
Disciplined shooters. I love it.
Think I'm on the Terminator Camp Noise Marines I'm less sold on. Don't think they cost most of a Terminator and are T4 1 wound 3 up. That's spooky, yeah, especially when you run the big units and there's indirect or there's bombers on the field.
God, bombers, yeah,
You
bombers are
definitely
brutal.
don't want to be near that.
Nope, that hurts a lot. Alright, these Invictors are coming along quite well.
How do you guys rate Dark Eldar into Sisters?
I think Sisters are one of the armies that has a better matchup into Dark Eldar, but I still think that it's very playable for both sides. Frank, it's not a disadvantage for Dark Elder at all. It's just sisters have the tools to play it. I actually still think it favors Dark Elder slightly, because they just play a very similar playstyle, and between equal skill opponents, Dark Elder just have more pieces. Is the bottom line.
And they have a lot of pieces.
They have a lot of pieces. That is a very important thing. So, I think it's a very interesting matchup. We already did it in the War Room once. I think I would love to do it again, as Sisters lists adapt, as well as our Dark Elder lists grow. So obviously our Dark Elder lists are adapting by the hour.
Would you lean more heavily into Mortifiers, or away from them and more to just MSU stuff?
I think I go more MSU. Although, frankly, adding more Mortifiers also is appealing. I love Mortifiers into Dark Eldar. I also just want more small units. I've actually been thinking of a party bus of 3 units of 3 Arcoflagellants. Just to jump out and flail people.
You gotta flail.
I mean, because 3 Arcoflagellants can still be 27 attacks. And if you just need to go in a lot of places and hit things, that is a great way to get it done.
Yeah, just hit a 5 Incubi squad or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, AP1, bucket of attacks, rerolls, go.
Incubi don't make saves on our stream.
They do not. Incubi do not have an armor save.
To be fair, they do only in the Advent game against all the Cyprus Raiders that were shooting at
That's true. That one dude tanked.
The one Clavix was just...
And everyone else was so busy watching him that they didn't...
He watched Drazar go down before him, and he was like, absolutely not. I refuse to yield.
Yeah.
Well done on the last game with Tower Rich. Very nice to watch, especially with it being against Death Guard. I appreciate that. Yeah, I thought that was a really good game, and it just goes to show you that if you build a list that relentlessly plays the mission and goes for points,
you've got a chance against anything.
You got a chance against these really powerful new codexes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's super cool to watch. It's a very, very entertaining game for anyone who wants to go back and watch that on our YouTube channel.
Thoughts on Hive Tyrant with wings, adrenal glands, toxin sacs, lash whip, monstrous bone sword devours, progeny the hive, monstrous siding something? Lots of stuff on Hive Tyrant, John.
I don't like the lash whip and bone sword at all.
What about the relic, the Reaper of Obliterax?
The Reaper of Obliterax is a weapon that gives you a massive bonus on 6s to wound. Unfortunately, you're a low attack model. A Hive Tyrant only makes 4 attacks. I think you can get it up to 5. I think the Reaper might... the size of the Tyrant might give you an extra one. Maybe the Reaper does too, but I don't think it does. Either way, 4 or 5 attacks is not enough for me to rely whatsoever on a 6 doing something good. And also, you don't need to obliterate high-value targets like that right now. And if you do, just take a Demakaran. I mean, you can put, 2 command points and, relics and warlord traits and hope that your 5-attack Hive Tyrant will go kill, roll a 6 to wound and obliterate something. He'll go from, flat 3 to flat 6, I think, on a 6 to wound. But, a Demakaran's just D3 plus 3 all the time, which is almost as good as flat 6, but it's all the time, and you don't have to put the resources in it, and it's on every attack, not just the 6s to wound. So, for me, I think that is just very unnecessary. The Tyranny Codex has a lot of relics that sound so cool until you, roll the dice once. Now my Hive Tyrant's gonna, he didn't roll any 6s to wound. I literally just spent 20 extra points on nothing. And also 2 command points. Okay? So that's a bit of a downer for me. I'm really hoping that whenever Tyranids get some love again, ideally in the form of a new Codex, knock on wood, that they really reevaluate the, just everything that has to do with the relics. The relics are just really a mess right now. So are the warlord traits, actually.
I hope it's the same for Tau as well. The Onagger Gauntlet, that should be all 4 attacks. Not this make 1 attack with the Onagger Gauntlet.
Yeah, it's just...
if I'm taking
those kind of things are so situational, it's never going to be taken. I don't like that at all.
The metallic, I actually have one. A servo arm that makes 1 strength.
The adamantine arm. It's not a servo arm, sir.
Okay.
It is. He has a metal... He's Winter Soldier in this thing.
Got
honestly, I feel like this is a Winter Soldier thing. Because occasionally they just reference old stuff. This just is he's got 1 adamantine arm. It's strength times 3. It's why is this? Why do you need a 1 attack at strength 12?
You guys think losing power from pain is bad enough where I should not take my Lynx's Inspectors? So advance and charge is just...
I think that pure Dark Eldar is really the best way to do it. However, I could really see certain builds that don't need advancement charge, such as like a battalion of Dark Technomancer racks.
Yeah.
You just do 6 units of 5 Technomancer racks, max liquefier guns, some boats, and then from there you go like Lynxes and Shadow Specters and Eldar stuff. That would be the scenario for me, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And that probably is good into the mirror matchup, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine.
Adding in this extra shooting. But if you're once you start adding in witches and incubi, you really
want advance and charge, yeah. That's definitely that's the truth right there. He's advance and charge is just so good, so potent.
Hey John, could you sing Imagine for the stream?
I could not.
Bet you have not heard that one before. He doesn't get it as often as he used to be fair.
That's because I stopped meeting new people.
Why no crons in the RTT to change things up? I need to work harder on crons to find a newer build that's good into Drukari, but just didn't have the time based on when we had to submit lists. So that is a project for the future, but I went for 2 armies I felt were better into the Drukari, a potential Drukari matchup.
Yeah, so that is really a meta-defining release, in my opinion.
But I'll be back to the crons, don't worry.
Same thing, I'll be back to the White Scars.
Thoughts on 18 Grotesques in the Dark Eldar list?
Ooh, they are so expensive. I feel like taking big bricks like that just kind of goes away from what you want to be doing with Dark Eldar, in my opinion. It's good, but I just think that it's not what Dark Eldar are trying to do. So, not a huge fan of that.
Just doesn't fit their best rules.
Yeah, they're so good at having multiple small units all over the place, and then Grotesques are not tough enough to just take it all on the chin and keep going through it. They only have a 6 pinball. And you can hope for turn 4, but until for the first 3 turns, you just have a 6 of pinball, and people will make you fail that. Doesn't take a particular amount of effort. So I love Grotesques. Again, them and Talos are probably my 2 favorite Dark Eldar units, but I don't think that is enough for me. Because I think a Grotesque is 40 points base, 45 with the Liquefier. I love my Liquefiers, but that's then 135 for 3 with Liquefiers. So it's 270 for 6.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference in skill when comparing players who go 3 and 2 and players who go 4 and 1?
Ooh, that's a war room question if I ever heard one. But I'm willing to drop a nugget here. It is not whatsoever the flashy plays. It is not doing the fancy tricks or the flashy plays at all. It's when there's just a basic scenario in front of you, it's not just YOLOing into the distance and trying things. It's just making safe, solid plays. 100%.
Yeah.
It's everyone's like, oh man, these good players, they're doing all these big brain stuff. It's crazy. Sure, sometimes, but the biggest thing is that they just don't randomly do things and just make random unforced mistakes.
Yeah.
Like if you can just be well practiced, know your list, follow your own game plan, don't make unforced mistakes, that can get you to 3, 2, 4, and 1 quite quickly.
Yeah, I also think patience, knowing when to commit, CP discipline, patience with when to commit units and when not to.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the 4 and 1 to 5 and 0. Honestly, the CP discipline and
that.
Yeah.
Like you think back to LVO, the game I played against Sean Naden in the semifinals.
Just hold on to those command points.
Also waited for that popping white scars on that warlord trait to go ahead and make the charges.
The best warlord trait in the
Naden's
game.
Objectives. That was
I miss that so much.
That was such a great warlord trait. Why did they take Vigilance?
I know.
From us?
God, Vigilance was the best.
Yeah. So
I would be rocking so
all
hard.
of a sudden, Iron Hands were now white scars this turn. In addition to Iron Hands, whoops, advanced charge, baby. Those Rangers are gone.
Ugh. So many people were like, why was that even there?
Just waited for it.
Yep.
Didn't really use it that much in most of the event, but when
you needed it.
When you're playing top table and it's events against very good opponents, those types of little tech tools can push you over the edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why you do it. What do you think a competitive Dark Angels Green Wing list would look like? Been experimenting with this, but the Deathwing power is just so seductive.
I think you really look at, frankly, it's an Ultramarine army with Azrael, if we're just being honest here. It's an Ultramarine army with Azrael. So I think you look at, like, Redemptors, and you still want Talmasters, but you can really afford to take heavy Eradicators, Plasma Inceptors, Hellblasters, Intercessors, and just benefit from Azrael's Levin. But I think that if you're going Green Wing, you want to have Dreadnoughts as an anchor because, well, frankly, you would normally want Blade Guard or Terminators, and even then, I think Green Wing still wants a couple units each from Deathwing and from Ravenwing. Again, Talon Masters. That's just my take on it.
I'm playing a tournament where legends are able to be used. Is building around Chaplain Dread still good for 9th edition? Oh my gosh. How many points is a Chaplain Dread?
I have no idea. How much is a Chaplain Dread in the new rules? I'm not willing to look that up. Just, that's a question for you.
But potentially. Would you run it like a Dark Angels list?
I think so. Dark Angels, 10 Terminators, 3 Chaplain Dreads, 3 Talon Masters.
Ridiculousness.
Just call it a day. Like, if I'm doing this, it's to troll.
Yep.
If I'm trolling, I'm not doing it small.
That's an annoying list to play against.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't target any of your awesome units. Great.
Fantastic.
This is going to be a long game.
Mm-hmm. You can target the 10-man brick. Great.
Richard, you made me dust off my towel last night. Glad to hear it. I'm super pumped about the towel, honestly.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see them back. Tower,
they
not
still have the
not
old
an army
nonsense.
I've played, but still, it's good to see them on the battlefield.
They still have all that old nonsense. The Overwatch.
All that nonsense.
The grab drone.
Do not forget the Tau nonsense. Do not forgive the Tau for their nonsense. These are all important.
I mean, what's more iconic than Nick vs. Tau?
Well, nothing. Nothing in the world is as iconic as Nick versus Tau. That's perfect, flawless right there.
What are the worst matchups for Dark Eldar?
I think it's Admech and maybe Grey Knights.
I think Admech and Grey Knights are pretty tough. Admech just because they have shooting all over the place, and they have annoying counter assault. Because if the counter assault gets the 2-up invuln, it is actually really annoying to deal with them. Even the 3-up invuln 5-up Feel No Pain is not exactly what Drukari want to deal with. The bombers are just a pain because if you don't deal with them, they keep getting engage points. They move block your charges, and then if you're trying to trap Admech in combat, they just fly over and bomb everything, letting the counter assault finish it up. So
trapping that.
And then all the indirect fire. It is going to kill raiders over time. You can't just sit there.
Exactly.
So they're going to go after the transport witches first to get rid of the ones that are going to Overwatch and have the shard nets.
The shard nets.
Yep. So.
Ugh,
and then Grey Knights have outrageous amounts of firepower, not to mention all the psychic damage. And they have a lot of mobility as well, so you need to constantly screen because all of a sudden, 10 Purifiers gets in your backfield and just shoots you apart.
Yep. Can't let that happen.
Yeah, like 40 shots coming at you, strain 6, AP 1 or 2, 2 damage. That's, from indirect, that's a lot of damage.
Raiders going to toughness 6 made me really sad because it meant Hand Flame or James Thurkle was so much worse against them.
Yeah. T6 is a huge upgrade.
T6
There's a lot
is
of
massive.
Strength, like all the heavy bolters that we've seen.
There's a lot of strength 3 and a lot of strength 5.
If White Scars had access to a White Scars version of Talon Masters, would there be an army that could keep up?
White Scar Talon Masters would not hurt. I would take several. A non-zero number for sure. Oh boy.
Don't make John dream like that.
Yeah, don't do that to me.
What do you think are the... what do you think of 3 or 4 Custody Dreads? Because of Drukari, super durable.
I think that's a good potential matchup into Dark Eldar. I was actually hoping to test it in the RTT because I brought a Custodes Dreadnought base list. Unfortunately, that ended up on the opposite side of the bracket. I have full faith that my Custodes are going to make it all the way to the finals, but unfortunately, Nick's probably going to lose the Dark Eldar to my Dark Angels because it's what I want to happen. Please. So it'll take some things to happen for that matchup to go. But you know what? Even if not, maybe we can test it out in the War Room after the RTT or something like that.
What do you think are the best Succubus loadouts?
Ooh, Razor Flails and Grave Lotus Toxin and Competitive Edge. That's the best one. Period. With +1 attack. After that, I personally like having the Triptych Whip and Precision Blows for the Mortal Wound output on a good weight of attacks, wounds onto 2. Great character assassin. She can go average a Primaris, Chaplain on bike, no problem. She can take those middle upper tier characters very well. Not gonna quite get a Goleman type character down. A Demon Prince is a little shaky, but frankly, she could still kill a Demon Prince without too much happening. Not a Death Guard one because -1 damage, but like 1,000 Suns Demon Prince, she's right on the edge of averaging, like really, really close.
So if they perils, go in.
If they peril, she'll get it for sure. Yeah.
Thoughts on running the Nightbringer and the Deceiver together? I'm not the biggest fan of the Deceiver. I don't think his ability really fits in what Necrons are trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, putting more things in strategic reserve without paying command points is great. It's just Necrons don't really need that. Okay. So his ability is kind of wasted. I would rather go for Transcendent Catan, save you a lot of points, and just get more stuff.
More stuff, one says.
Love from South Africa. Thank you so much, Sparky. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying the chatting.
Mm-hmm.
Playing Craft Worlds in a Drukari world seems scary. I may go full edgelord until my new Craft World book comes out.
Now is the best time to play Drukari that I'm aware of in the history of 40k.
Yep.
Like the Dark Eldar have been good before. This feels like out the gate's a really good start for them though, and definitely the comparison between Dark and Light Eldar feels very stark right now. But yeah, I'm sure Eldar are an army that GW loves to give good rules to. So if you play Eldar, don't feel too bad. There's probably something coming for you. I just can't imagine GW not doing an Eldar codex at some point.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine them ever writing a bad Eldar codex ever because they never have. Period. There's never been a bad Eldar codex.
Only age decays the Eldar.
Yeah.
And the numerous FAQs that...
Usually it's the FAQs that are needed to tone them down.
Isn't Chaplain Jet Legends? It is indeed. Someone in chat is playing an event that allows
Legends events,
which is bizarre.
Which is crazy.
How many Custodes dreads is the right number of dreads?
Oof. More.
All of them.
More. If you've got points, take more.
If you're going pure Custodes, it's a lot of dreads. Guard, like 5 dreads is pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on souping some Astra Militarum units to a Custodes list? Either Astra Militarum or AdMech. It's unclear. AM could mean both.
That's true. They could both make potentially good
but
allies.
then they're mentioning Manticores, so it's Astra
Manticores. Well, fun fact, folks, I am taking Guard and Custodes together in the Streamhouse RTT, and my list will be part of a video that we're going to be showing off in the next couple of days on our YouTube channel, so you should definitely check in there to see what that final list ends up being. Although, spoiler, I did talk about it last night in our Imperium clinic in the Art of War Room. Otherwise, that is going to be on our YouTube channel soon, and you'll be seeing it in the RTT in action in just over a week.
Yes, indeed. Smash-A-Gun, Smash DA, our Dark Eldar?
I would highly doubt that, but it's possible.
If there's good terrain, you aren't shooting anything with Smash-A-Guns.
Yeah.
I've played against them way too many times with Talos. Like, okay, you got your 18 Smash-A-Guns, that's awesome. Proud of you. I'm going to sit my army on this side of the ruin in the middle, and I'm going to kill all these ones, and then your other ones do nothing.
Yeah, especially since every Dark Lance just kind of kills a Smash-A-Gun. They're like, what, 5 wounds? 4 or 5 wounds?
They're 5 wounds.
Okay. So a Dark Lance has decent odds of just acing one.
They're 5 wounds because I kept doing 4 damage with Chaplain Dreads in 8th edition against Nick that one game.
Ah, that was fantastic. I do remember that.
Congrats on the Tau win yesterday. How would you play your Tau list into Blood Angels, fast combat armies in general? The great thing about Blood Angels is they don't have a lot of shooting, and so they can't kill the Devilfish without the Breachers popping out and then murdering everything in front of them.
Transports are powerful, bottom line.
So that's great. The Grav Drone is also something that Blood Angels hate. Subtracting D3, because they get that +1, so they can get some reliable 8-inch charges, but
out of reserve especially.
The amount of screening that Tau has with all the 2-man drone units running around, you're just not getting close. And then you saw the speed pushing the Remors out. If they reserve too much, I'll block the entire board off and keep them and kill all their stuff in reserve.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the Airburst unit is great into Marines in general.
That Airburst unit is quite good. I think it would struggle into like the Storm Shield Terminators, where it's AP1.
Into the Storm Shield Terminators. Yeah, if they come out, I can pop through Unity, but I'm just not
really trying.
I would send the Breachers into them.
Got it.
The Breachers with reroll wounds actually does quite a bit.
Okay.
And the Ion Tide, obviously.
Ion Tide, you say?
I'd focus on those 2 units, trying to do the damage, and just pick off OBSEC with the Airburst, which is what I did against Nick.
Implying the Terminators aren't OBSEC. Adorable.
I can at least outnumber them if I kill a couple.
That is true.
Well, I have both of you. How would you play your new soup list into Drukari?
My new
Imperium?
soup list?
Imperium soup.
Batten down the hatches and kill the boats. Just round the wagons.
Kill the boats, limit their damage so that you have dreads living,
Yep.
a couple wounds, and they're still at full efficiency.
Yep. Kill
at
the
least
boats.
the Galactus dreads.
Kill the boats. Kill the boats. There's nothing as important as popping those boats.
Now you got me thinking what you all bring if we did Legends RTT. I don't remember all the units that were Legends.
Manticore batteries.
Manticore batteries?
Hell
They have the
yeah.
D6 missiles.
So it's a D6 shot missile instead of 2D6, but it's strength 9, AP 3, damage D6. So a little more damage. But the best part was, one, it was so terribly written, I'm sure Legends actually fixed this, but back when it had rules, it wasn't immobile. It just happened to have a 0-inch movement
It could
characteristic.
advance.
It could advance, and it could advance and charge, despite not having wheels, with Crush Them, which was incredible.
Yeah.
And it could be outflanked with the Talon strat back in 8th edition. So you could outflank 3 of them, ignore the heavy penalty, and just pop off. Oh, also, they never put a limit in to fire 1 rocket per turn. So you use the Talon strat, dropped 3 batteries, and just fired 12 missiles. Just call it a day.
Nice.
Yeah.
I lost against that. That was the
Yep.
that tournament, that first GT I went to.
Yep.
Lost against
That was
one.
that was adorable. And Siegler got that removed from the game.
Nah, I didn't. Didn't need to.
No.
It was just I had the drones to do it. It just wasn't enough.
Yeah. And also, I think your first GT game ever.
I had broadsides.
I'll forgive you for not winning.
Poor broadsides.
Poor broadsides.
They don't-
Still went 4-1 at your first GT, right?
Still did.
Still went 4-1. Not a bad
Beat
showing.
Yanari with Tau.
Good.
When they were broken. Well, more broken.
Good. Screw him.
Love to see Grey Knights vs. Drukari battle report. I would love to play that battle report. We just have to get Nick on board to play against my Grey
if
Knights.
you want, you could make that a sub match.
Could make it a sub match
Nick's
as well.
been really excited about the Dark Eldar. He really, is wanting to test them out, especially as he's considering taking them to tournaments coming up. That'd be a great way to stress test what Drukari
And that's
can
a
do.
great thing to bring up, John, because right now this is the very last day of the month
It is
for
the last
top
day of the
super
month.
chatters. Both Matt and Matt O are the top 2 so far, but you still have the rest of this stream.
Mm-hmm.
to
It
go
is
ahead
not
and
too late to
decide
catch
to
them.
want to choose a stream match. And
If you are tired of Matt domination, I, for one, welcome our new Matt overlords.
yes.
But the Mats are dominating this month's competition. So, you know what? If you don't think you can withstand the onslaught of Mats, maybe try the month of April. But there is still time to win the month of March.
Yep. If you want the Drukari hype, I know a lot of people have been saying, Drukari versus Tyranids. They want to see Drukari versus
Mm-hmm.
Necrons. Drukari versus, all sorts of different things. Grey Knights now.
Yep.
Make it happen.
Absolutely.
What major changes do you think we will see with Chaos Space Marines eventually get their codex?
Oh, everything. They've got to redo that book top to bottom. Quite frankly.
Yeah.
I think it and Grey Knights are now the oldest books now that we know where AdMech's coming out.
Yes.
Now Chaos Space Marines got their 2.0, but their 2.0 didn't. It just added new rules.
Copy
It didn't.
pasta.
It was a copy pasta. So it's not actually that new. So I'm sure again, Chaos Space Marines is an iconic army. I'm sure they're getting some love at some point. Don't know when that is, but I think they would have a fundamental rewrite. This would be like what happened to the Dark Eldar Codex, where like the Space Marine Codex was good, but a lot of it's you could find the roots in the previous Space Marine Codex. It wasn't that fundamental. The shift just buffed some warlord traits, nerfed some strats, side graded a lot of stuff, core introduced, all good stuff, good changes, but really it was like the Dark Eldar and the Necron books, which were just complete top to bottom. This is a new codex. That's what I think Chaos Space Marines will get. It's been long enough that they will. I think that they'll reinvent the concept.
Totally. With a couple games under your belt, how do you all feel about Drukari?
I feel like they're very, very good, and the meta's going to have to shift greatly once good players start getting reps in with them. It's definitely hard to play them optimally, and you have to own the right stuff, of course. And the Dark Eldar are very strong, and once those good players get their hands on it, the rest of us are going to have to maybe respect Dark Eldar a lot more in our list building and start coming up with plans to defeat them. Because I don't think that you take your normal unchanged list that you were trying to beat Death Guard and Dark Angels with, and then just run it into Dark Eldar like nothing happened. I think it's fundamentally going to change the meta.
Yeah. I think they got a couple broken rules that are going to get nerfed.
That too. I
So,
do believe that as well.
Super Succubi, I think, will eventually...
I think the Super Succubus, Liquefier Racks.
Yep, Liquefier Racks.
then,
Dark Technomance. I feel like they should just edit it so that if you auto-hit, it's wound rolls of 1 that you take mortals. And then I think it'd be reasonable.
Yeah, because then you at least kill, your liquefiers pretty quickly.
Yep.
Other things is that, this isn't even broken. This just really pisses me off. The fact that their triple patrol gets 14 command points to start instead of 12. I feel like when GW is like, oh, we'll just make it cost 0, that means they'll start with 12. Fine. Dark Eldar getting a triple patrol and starting with the same as my battalion. Okay. That's their raiding party. It's their special rule. I'm alright with that. But, like, them getting 14 command points without taking any special characters when every other army's just start at 12? Nah, that's not cool. I don't like that at all.
No, at least you have to work for, like, Necrons. You get the
Silent
Necrons,
King. But that's a 500-point investment, and it sets who your warlord is.
Yep.
Golem, same thing. We were talking a 480-point investment, I think. That, again, sets who your warlord is. I think just like, I have 3 patrols, therefore I start with 14 command points. I can still have any warlord I want. It's like, all right, let's pump the brakes there.
Can't wait to see this Custodes Astra soup list now. I'm sensing there will be a lot of dreadnoughts. There will
be a non-zero number of dreadnoughts.
What do you think of the Freeblade Lance?
Oh, goodness. Heroic Intervention is 6. OBSEC on my big knights. There's a lot of things that I have wanted for knights in that Freeblade Lance. I think that the lack of damage output is still putting me off a little bit, because I feel like knights are very much in a kill or be killed spot right now, especially with, the meta that people were starting to build for Death Guard and Dark Angels. Like right when those armies were coming out, knights were actually in a surprisingly fantastic spot, because people weren't really bringing those super big guns. Once people were like, let's start bringing minimum 4 damage stuff because I'm tired of -1 damage through models, suddenly knights were like, oh. Yeah. And like knights have tools for that. Knights have damage output to compete with like eradicators and stuff like that. I was able to beat, some of those stat lists. But I think that made it a little hairier, and I don't want to drop my damage output at this point.
Yeah.
I don't want to go lower than what I had with Crest. And that is the difficult situation to find yourself in.
Just bought 2 redemptions for my Blood Angels, Plasma or Gatling. Feel like the 3 damage Plasma. I really hate but I really hate the D6 shots.
Oof. Gotta tell you, magnets are your friend here.
Yep.
I personally think that the Plasma's a little bit better right now. However, the Gatling's very cool, and with Dark Eldar, maybe it'll become more popular.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm more inclined to go Plasma.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, as good as the Onslaught is, I don't think that it's a significant buff into popping boats. It's better into the infantry for sure. But if you're trying to pop boats, the Plasma's almost as good.
Not when you roll the one number of shots, though.
There's a command point for that.
Feels brutal. How much money is the top 2 donation? I believe one of the mats is around like 235, 250 USD, and then the other one is around like 150 USD. So that would be the threshold that you're aiming for. Yeah, they've been amazing supporters of the channel this month.
We really
Thank you
appreciate
so much.
them.
Hey Sigler, have you thought about giving a full missile spam list a try in Tau? Literally take all the discounted smart missiles as possible in hardened warhead sept? No, because I think any good army, and there's so much speed in the game right now, and MSU speed, is going to run you over. Because you don't play the mission whatsoever with spamming broadsides, and when they get tagged, they can't shoot into combat. So if...
It's a big downside right there.
If you're not taking Farsight Enclaves, you don't have double Monka, so you have 1 turn to fall back and shoot with Monka. And that's that. And if your opponent, because they don't have fly, hems you in, so you can't actually physically fall back.
Desperately breaking out with broadsides feels pretty bad.
With a unit of 3, that's going to feel real bad when you roll a 1 or 2, or a 1 or another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't want that.
Do not at all.
Or they just block it so you can't fully move the broadsides out, even with Desperate Breakout.
Yeah, their bases are pretty large, right?
Exactly.
If you wrap a broadside, can it even get out of combat? If you, wrap it?
If you wrap it?
With 3 models, you could probably sneak them out. But, if you wrap them with,
I think
4
if you
or 5,
wrap with an actual squad, you probably can't get out. Because you have to clear it. You have to be 1.1 away from that.
Yeah, Witch Cults are going to feel real bad.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think you just get annihilated. Well, because Witch Cults also ignore Overwatch.
Yep.
So, I think that list is a little too... It doesn't play the mission well enough. You saw the Tal list I ran, just plays the mission relentlessly.
Yep. Oh, that's what you got to do in 9th edition.
That's how you get over 90 points in a game. Do you think Bellicor is going to be a big Gribbly like Mortarion Magnus? Do you think he'll structurally change how you can run Undivided Demons of Chaos? I think so.
I think he'll be a big Gribbly. I have no idea what he will do for the rest of the faction. I'm not even going to pretend to make predictions on that because I just have no idea. I would love to...
I feel like getting a new gigantic model. Like, they could have made him a medium-sized one if they wanted to, but making him gigantic, I think he's going to be...
I'm hoping he's a Supreme Commander and it brings in some real cool roles.
Definitely. And it's good for demons to get away from... what's his name? Fate Weaver. Get away from Fate Weaver for a while.
Absolutely. Who is Fate Weaver?
Fate Weaver just should never be powerful again.
He never will be.
Love you, Nick.
Sorry, he'll never be good again. Don't worry. And even if he was, Nick still wouldn't put him on the table ever.
Yeah. Well, if he did, he'd die from Farsight in combat.
He was killed by
Co-Commander Farsight. He's sucked into the Dawn Blade. That's amazing. Hey Ziegler, what strengths do you think Tau have at the moment, and which secondary objectives would he go for in 1,000-point games? So, the strengths that Tau have in the moment is they play the mission super well. They can get a lot of different they have tons of speed, and they have a lot of units overall, and it's hard to kill them efficiently. There's a lot of durability with stealth suits, Remora drones. Just having to split fire against all these 2-man drone units, that's annoying.
Yep.
You have the Crisis unit ignoring AP 1 and 2, a Riptide either shooting and then going behind terrain like I did, or sitting on a 3-up invuln. Mm-hmm. None of that is that easy to deal with.
No, not at all.
Not to mention a bunch of breachers jumping out. So I think mobility and board control is very powerful with that list. And then, like I said, it does secondary super well. So engage or domination are always in play. Mm-hmm. You could even do line breaker against certain opponents.
Line breaker.
While we stand, the army's built to get while we stand. So that's just a 15 points you're sitting on in most games. And then you have one of the action secondaries. You could do scramblers if you want. I typically would go for raise the banners. But if your opponent happens to give up a kill secondary, then it's even easier. You just go for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
Or there's a silly mission secondary like priority targets.
Oh, priority targets. Beautiful.
Love priority targets. If we have to pop boats against Dark Eldar, does this mean that I can bring my Falchion back? Probably not.
Falchion is not what you want to pop boats. Because popping one boat against Dark Eldar is never the problem.
This is Frosty.
Anyone. Oh, Frosty Forge, you tease.
No Falchions.
No Falchions.
Do you think Plasma Scepters with Dark Angels are worth bringing, or are multi-melt attack bikes with invulns just too good for their points and perform the same?
I love the multi-melt attack bikes because they're faster. The real reason I don't like the Plasma Scepters and Dark Angels is that the army is not trying to kill the people who step into that 18-inch range bracket that the Plasma Scepters fill. And Dark Angels aren't really a go out and get them kind of army. They're really a I'm doing my thing, or at least I think that their best current build is this style. I'm doing my thing and I'm going to, kill anyone who tries to stop me. They're not going out to get people. And 18 inches is just not the right range bracket for that role, I think. I think you could absolutely build a Dark Angel build that wants Plasma Scepters. Just the standard Terminators and Talon Masters, I feel like, is doing a very different thing than you are given here.
Sounds good to me. Mr. Nanavati. That's John. I'm on the other side.
Ridiculous.
Where are you going, Nick?
My second COVID shot.
Oh, Nick is going to be vaccinated. Proud of you, Nick.
Vaccinations. The fun party bus is here for all of 2 minutes before I leave you. My apologies, leaving you in these treacherous hands.
Nick, how do you feel about Death Guard?
I feel like you guys have been talking nonstop 40K this whole time. We should liven up this party with some not Death Guard talk.
All right, what do we have coming up, Nick?
We got the Streamhouse RTT coming up. Why are we talking about Death Guard and move blocking and things like that when we got this thing going on? What are you guys doing?
We've been talking about it.
We've been talking about it. Are you guys pumped? I'm pumped. We're going to have me versus Siegs. You can do your challenge
beating
bracket
Nick again.
right now. Going to put the Tau to shame. Ruin them like the fish people they are. No one likes fish.
Commander.
Commander.
It's it's drying.
Yeah, drying on the paper towel.
It's gonna dry your army.
Oh, what a comeback right there. Love to
Nick
see it.
just punched through the drywall of Nick's army.
Sisters have no drywall. They are solid buccaneers. All right, kids. I must be off on my way. Have fun. I'll leave you back to the Death Guard talks.
Let's see. How do you handle a list that rockets Morty into your lines turn 1 and runs the droning so things can't get away? Honestly, if they're running Morty in a soup list to get warp time, then they're not quite as durable and don't have the amazing power of all the contagions. So not as worried about that, honestly. Mark is actually running an Emperor's Children list with Morty. I think most lists can just murder Morty. Like the Tau list has so much reroll wounds all over the place. Everybody's been gearing up for Pure Death Guard and for Dark Angels, and so reroll wounds is very common. Admech just got reroll wounds in the Metallic and Lung. I'm not worried about Morty. He dies just like he did in 8th edition. He's T8 now, but whatever. Reroll wounds helps a lot. So I feel like Morty is very, very pricey for 500 points because you just can't hide him. So if you take turn 1 shooting, he's whittled down. Now he's in the middle of the table on your opponent's turn 1. You're top of turn 2, boom, he's gone. And then he did nothing for 500 points. He soaked some firepower, to be sure, but he needs to do a lot more than that to be worth it. What do you think of Morty, John? Morty getting rocketed at you.
He is a big, expensive distraction card effects, but he can do a really good job into some armies that just don't have an answer for him. He's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I don't think top table armies really care enough about him.
No, I think too many people can just screen, or he's also not very good in MSU.
Yeah,
and that seems to be where
there's tar pit units too that he struggles against.
Absolutely, yeah.
He does have quite a few weaknesses. He's not like the Silent King where you can hide him for long enough, and he doesn't have the same aura buffing ability.
Yeah.
That is a super solid Silent King list. I would just say the main thing right now is just adapting to what these Drukari lists are going to be. I'm kind of waiting to see where the meta settles on Drukari before really tweaking the Silent King list. I just feel like what he does, which is essentially allow you dramatic efficiency on all your Novak stuff, and he allows you to fight in 2 separate places because one area fights last, the other one is where you activate first. Mm-hmm. That strategy isn't reliable anymore against Drukari because of all their fight first and fight last abilities.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, and then 20 warriors just isn't efficient against the mass damage that they can do. Good luck with your vaccination. Just got my second shot Monday. Supposedly, the younger you are, the worse the side effects. Well,
interesting.
So I'm not, because Nick is scheduled for a stream game tomorrow. Otherwise, John's going to play Drukari and I'm playing Ultramarines.
You can play the Drukari. If I'm painting these to Invictor tactical warsuits, I'm playing them.
John,
I'm playing these Invictors.
I'm gonna have the book open the whole time. I'll be reading all the guns on them,
and I'll be telling you. I'll tell you what they do.
I'll be playing the Ultramarines. No. At least I know Marine style.
No,
they hit on 3s, John.
No, hit on 3s, wound on 3s. Don't like it, reroll it.
They shoot
That's
a lot.
Gulliman life. Unfortunately, Gulliman does not give these Invictor tactical warsuits rerolls. He only gives them reroll once to hit. He doesn't give them the full rerolls
because they're
to
not
hit.
core.
They're not core. And that actually has made me tempted by Ultramarine successors, which would be funny because my army is painted as an Ultramarine successors, the Eagle Warriors. That's the half white and blue color scheme that I favor. And I occasionally will get flack in YouTube comments for not playing my army the way it's painted. Because, it's not dark green when I play Dark Angels. So an Ultramarine successor for the first time would be kind of funny, I think. Because that's how they're painted.
Yeah. I kind of got stuck trying to outshoot 2 to 3 Demolisher tank aces in my games against my friends, so that tip hopefully will help. Against armies that just shoot outrageous amounts, if they don't ignore line of sight, just take away shooting phases from them.
Yep,
Terrain
absolutely.
is your friend. And make sure you're playing with enough of it.
Yep, very, very important for sure.
If Nick doesn't end first place, he should have his head shaved.
With his Drukari?
Yeah.
Fully agreed. I'd make a shave. I'd get a buzz cut in a bet with Nick.
Oh, that would be awesome. We can put that on the line.
100%. Nick and I both take Dark Eldar to a tournament. Whoever does worse shaves their head. Done.
You play each other.
High stakes.
John brings the local fire spam with lynxes. I'm gonna hard counter you.
I like it.
Hello, Art of War 40k team. How's everybody doing today?
Hello.
We're doing excellent, Terry. Thank you so much. I'm super excited for the Streamhouse RTT. Look forward to all the matches.
Yo, what's up, Terry N85? Welcome. Welcome.
If you check out our social media, you can look at the challenge bracket, and it has all the different matchups that you're going to see. And they are starting on Tuesday next week.
Absolutely. That is the first game. So if you want to fill out a challenge bracket, just take a little stab at how this is going to go down. Maybe see if you know the way these games are going to go. Then fill that out before Tuesday.
Yep. Over the next several days, we are going to have videos on this very channel discussing each of the lists, why we made the choices that we did, what each list does well, and how we think we're going to do. And then, of course, there is that contest, this giveaway that goes live tonight. Over $3,000 worth of prizes from us, Art of War, and our sponsors. So you can get all sorts of cool stuff like exclusive coaching calls with Nick and myself or John and Brad Chester. You can get access to the War Room. There is Army Painter Mega Paint sets.
It's a Big Bear 3D, a table of terrain.
Exclusive
a full
champions.
table.
Yep, exclusive champions table. I believe he said he was going to do something special that hasn't been seen before, like nuclear silos and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So I'm excited to see what that is. Some other 3D printed big monsters that you can use as demon princes and stuff, or Catan. And then we've got 3D6 objective markers. Warpfire Minis is doing some Dominus Box and gift cards. And so much more, really.
Absolutely. Lots of exciting
That
stuff.
is going to go live tonight, and we are going to sure to post that link all over social media. All you have to do, visit our various websites and that of our sponsors, like, subscribe our social media, etc. And you'll get entries.
Free price support. What else could you ask for?
If Nick's getting vaccinated, does that mean he can't play Death Guard anymore?
That was his last hurrah. Richard has cured him of his filth and disease.
Matt with a 10-pound super chat, who
What's
is
up?
Leading the top super chatter for the month.
Matt heard us talking about how you could just win this month of March, and Matt's like, absolutely not. This is a Matt month.
This is the Matt month. For the end of the month, what do you think are the biggest sleeper armies at the moment?
Sleeper armies. Ooh, I'm gonna go with the homer pick, Ultramarines. I know Space Marines are never really a sleeper, but Ultramarines specifically is gonna be my answer.
I think Tau are a sleeper army.
Well, I was saving that for you.
Yep. But those two, I think, we've seen some craft world lists doing really well recently that emphasize firepower with some MSU board control.
Absolutely.
Those ones have been doing quite well, and maybe we will see a Drukari craft world combo that actually.
I think if
meta.
you do, I think Covens or Black or
Yeah.
or Cabal, which cult and Incubate
Yeah.
love that advanced charge, but honestly,
Yeah, just cut the melee aspect and just
Black
MSU
Card-
shooting.
Yeah, MSU shooting, and also add in the more MSU stuff that's very efficient with Eldar,
The Urkel
9
split
support
party.
batteries. I don't think so. But support batteries make a great while we stand we fight because the 3 of them split up into 3 separate units, and they cost more than literally anything Dark Eldar is capable of bringing.
Yep.
So you could get hyper efficient MSU units.
Yeah.
Honestly,
There's probably something there.
there's definitely something there.
Yep.
If you're gonna beat Dark Eldar, hyper MSU may be a way to do it.
What other lists have been doing well that have surprised you?
Pure Imperial Guard.
Pure Guard?
The Guard and Sisters list won the Glass City GT, something in Toledo, Ohio, I believe. It was won by Mr. Tyler DeVries. And that had a very heavy guard component with all the ponies and the cavalry. 41 ponies.
41
And then I think they also got second place in an Australian GT. Fortunately, I can't remember the name of the gentleman in question, but very interesting Scions and Destroyan mix. Sorry, it's a very unconventional guard, but did quite well with it. Went 4-1, got second place.
Knights are still pretty much a sleeper army.
Knights are definitely a sleeper army. I think that the hyper MSU of Dark Eldar is going to tone them down a little bit, but they're still in position to really compete well with a lot of the armies out there.
Yeah. I think Grey Knights are also a sleeper army.
Absolutely. Yeah, Grey Knights are another good
So
choice.
just all of a sudden you get tabled. What happened?
Where did my army go? One turn?
What?
It all just died. Alright, well, I am done with these Invictor Tactical Warsuits. They are good. I thought it was going to take me till 3. Now you're done. luckily there are still plenty of things to paint. Have no fear, folks.
Thank you again for that super chat, Matt.
Thank you.
Cannot wait to see what matchup you want to see.
If you have any ideas, I would be curious to hear them. You don't have to decide right now, but if you already have something in mind, Matt, just throw it at us.
Let us know what you're thinking. Drazar or Archon as Warlord in Triple Patrol?
Drazar slaps so hard, folks. I love him so much.
What Ultramarine successor traits would you use?
Ooh. Dun dun dun. That's tricky right there. Really depends on what you build the list around. I think the Whirlwind of Rage, the Exploding Sixes, is definitely still something you want. But I'm seriously considering at that point, do I want to go the Emperor's Spears route, get access to some really nice +1 to wound on the charge? That's a stratagem that came in the White Dwarf supplement. Or I might just be more inclined to go like Master Artisans and then go a nice vehicle heavy build.
Yeah.
Although frankly, if I was doing that, I might actually do the Countess double wounds and Master Artisans, or maybe still Exploding Sixes. You can do cool stuff with Ultramarine, so they just have a very generically solid suite of stratagems and just some really good abilities.
Yeah. In fairness, I almost beat Drukari with the Terminus S list. Who's playing Death Guard? Well, you're going to love what Mark Perry is bringing then, because he is a madman who is actually bringing that detachment.
He's bringing the Terminus S detachment.
Spoiler, but you guys are the loyal followers.
Absolutely.
And,
we can let it out a little.
But Mark is actually crazy enough to run that. He
is.
Thinks it is very good.
Yeah, it is. It's got some interesting stuff. And
lots of poxwalkers.
If you go to the challenge bracket, you could probably figure out what it's playing against.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be a really interesting round one matchup there. That is going to be a good one.
Given Drukari has a hard time with the While We Stand We Fight, how do you plan on building secondaries for Drukari?
I think they're really good at getting scramblers, and they're very good at engaging all fronts, and they're actually just good at kill secondaries in general. They can go assassinate people. Yeah. You could build a While We Stand We Fight into Drukari. I don't think it's the easiest thing in the world, but it's doable because they have so many cheap units. All it really is find something that costs more than an Incubi squad, and if you can do that, you're good. Or more than a Witch squad, I guess, would be probably the most expensive unit you don't want to be a While We Stand. But like a Witch squad kitted out to the max that I want it to be is about 115. So like it's not that hard to build something to cost more than that. I mean, frankly, you could make a Cabalite squad cost more than that if you really wanted to, and just stick them in the back.
Yeah.
Yep.
But not every list needs While We Stand We Fight.
That's
in the
true.
Back pocket.
Yeah, you don't have to do that for everyone.
Drukari like trading most of their army for points.
They certainly do, and they can find themselves getting tabled but still winning the mission.
Will there be a How to Beat Drukari clinic?
100%. 100%. That is a thing that we will talk about. That is something we will be going over in the War Room. Although really every other faction's clinic is How to Beat Drukari right now.
Yeah.
You got to deal with the new kids on the block.
Well, we can do a cohesive single discussion answering all the questions on what kind of tech choices to bring.
Yeah. That'd be a cool, good clinic idea right there.
So are you rethinking the Silent King like him, but 450 points is a lot? Yeah, I think Fight First is really the thing that makes me nervous about using him. Being able to turn off his Fight Last aura, that's a huge deal. Because he's not invincible.
No.
But when he's dictating combats, he's extremely annoying to deal with, especially in front of all those warriors. But it's the combination of 20 warriors having to be re-examined and the ability to get that Fight Last off because of so many Fight First abilities coming out of Drukari. That makes me reconsider the whole concept. If you don't play the army, is it still worth listening to all the other clinics? Definitely. When you go into a tournament and you want to win a GT, you want to win a major or anything larger, you need to know inside and out the other armies that you're going to play against.
Absolutely.
When you go up to the table, you know what your opponent's army does. You know the tricks. Mm-hmm. You are not guessing and having to look up the rules. Mm-hmm. You just know. So knowledge is a huge part of the game, and that's what the War is about. It's about the knowledge on competitive 40K.
100%. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I'm thinking the Emperor's Finest versus the Sons of Titan, the two greatest of the Emperor's creations.
Ooh. Now, the Emperor's Finest, is that a reference to the Ultramarines, the Custodes, the humble Imperial Guard? I think the Imperial Guard are the Emperor's Finest. Imperial Guard versus Grand Knight Siegler. But is Nick playing the Imperial Guard?
Make Nick's least favorite faction is the Guard.
That is true. It is.
You could make him play it.
I think you'd rather play Tau. I think you'd rather play Tau than Guard.
I think he has said that on stream.
Yeah, I bet he would.
Yeah. Now, he doesn't know how to play Tau.
No,
So that's...
it does not.
We had some legendary bets in 8th edition where Nick thought Tau was the most broken faction, so he could just show up and win, and then he would play against John, and John's like, no. No.
Not that easy. Not that
It's
easy.
actually not an easy army to play. Have you ever considered Space Marine infantry spam and White Scars? Just tons of combat squads all over the place. Rights of War, Steadfast example, Ancient for OBSEC plays.
I actually have, yes. I've been really thinking about what I might do there, and that would probably be White Scars, and that would be like, multiple Blade Guard squads that I combat squad, multiple Vanguard Veteran squads that I combat squad, just a lot of small MSU units there. I think that could be very powerful. I probably need to get another box or two of Blade Guard Veterans to be able to realistically run that, but I'm not at all opposed to giving it a good old college try. So perhaps that will sneak its way into our stream sometime. Once I'm done painting the Invictor tactical war suits and the Redemptors, at that point, get a couple extra Blade Guard. The Marine train never stops.
Once Khan comes out on bike, then John's right back in White Scars.
Just Corsaro Con, please. Please, primary Corsaro Con. That's all that I ask.
Tomorrow is April, which means Mechanicus. I cannot wait. I hope they start giving us previews soon. I really love to know what this AdMech Marshal does.
I just want to know when. I want to know when.
When and what the Marshal does and what's changing.
Mm-hmm. I really like...
what extra rules Metallica get. That's what I'm excited for. Let's get an upgraded trait and relic, please.
Yeah.
And stratagem. Because then I'd really love the extra Metallica rules. But we'll see. Mars will probably get some silly nonsense too.
Oh, no doubt.
You can just count on Mars getting good stuff.
Mars is not going to be bad. That's the only guarantee in life. Mars will not suck.
Want to see an RTT with the top 8 list, but everybody is randomly assigned 2 lists.
What if... Oh my goodness.
Nick had to play.
Okay, what would someone have to donate for us to do that for this RTT? We've paired the lists, then we D8 find out who's playing what.
I think because we recorded all the videos, it's too soon.
It's probably too late.
But next time.
Next time. That's gotta happen next time.
Yep.
All right, we could
we
do
can
it.
come up with a stream goal for that.
Yeah.
I thought he meant Custodes versus Grey Knights. I think he means Custodes versus Grey Knights.
So too.
But
I'm just being a little silly.
Because Grey Knights don't just kill the Dreadnoughts, though. The Dreadnoughts are very annoying to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
They do not die very easily to anything.
Yeah.
They just live.
That's true. They are very good at living.
What's your go-to GT list right now?
Go-to is hard. I don't have a go-to. I'm kind of in between armies right now, where I'm really trying to lock in on something. I like my Tyranids a lot, and I put a lot of time into them. But unfortunately, I think that they're not going to age well. There's already a couple of matchups that I'm not enthusiastic about. AdMech, frankly, was their worst matchup, and Dark Elder aren't an easy one either. And then, of course, AdMech are getting new rules coming any day now, so I don't want to invest in Tyranids as my long-term army until they get new rules.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to decide what I want it to be. That's where I'm at. Hoping it'll be Sisters, because I figure if they're getting this many new models, there's a codex on the way, and if there is, that's exactly what I need to respark my Sisters and go hard into that army.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this new AdMech book. I cannot wait to be playing more games with AdMech and see what they get.
Absolutely.
They have some awful relics, and I would love to have some good ones.
Yeah, they're going to get some good ones,
The
guaranteed.
Metallican Lung instantly became the best relic.
Oh, yeah, by a margin.
Before that, it was reroll repair rolls.
It's generic.
It's not bad, but especially when you have 1 CP double repair, but most of the time your vehicles were dead, or
They were not.
they're not dead.
Yeah.
They're just behind terrain. You may be right. It may have to be Nick playing guard into Richard's Tau just to do the perfect combo. I would totally be down for that. But if you wanted Custodes for Grey Knights, we could do that as well. Just let us know what you're going to prefer. But yeah, meaning Custodes, but guard wouldn't be bad to see either. If you're really hyped about Custodes and Grey Knights, you can definitely do it. But I'm totally down for guards versus Tau as well. Let us know which one you prefer. What armies are the Invictors for? Are they good now?
They are for my Ultramarines army. They're definitely not bad. I really want to try taking advantage of the Ultramarines' ability to redeploy. so that you can be super aggressive with the Invictors, but also not feel like an idiot 50% of the time. When you, of course, go second and have to play aggressively, that is very bad for anyone else. So they're for my White Scars. They're for my Ultramarines, and we'll be trying that out tomorrow on our YouTube channel.
And I might be playing the Ultramarines.
No.
Yes, John.
No.
Get them in.
Fun dark color. I'm painting these Invictors for me. These are mine.
Or you guys could draft the next RTT list like fantasy football. There's a lot of options. We are.
Can we get like some of the ESPN music in here without them yelling at us?
Stat Center music.
Like ESPN Stat Center.
Yeah, ESPN Stat Center.
Absolutely.
The old school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like the college football game day music is also pretty good if we're just nitpicking here.
We don't want the NFL to sue us though. Would your tell list have an issue with the Catan Max Wounds phase models? Nope. Because guess what? Crisis suits are amazing. In the charge phase, they can do mortals on 3-ups and after they end a charge move.
I hate that so much.
Then they can spend 1 CP to reroll hit and wound rolls in combat.
Mm-hmm.
So shoot the 3 wounds off with the airburst unit, and then make the charge move in there. Get rid of them.
Hope you roll enough 3-ups.
Also, Tau do damage in Overwatch as well, another phase.
Yep. What if you accidentally only did 2 wounds on the charge and had 4 wounds left?
It's going to feel bad.
That's true.
But because Catan are so slow,
yeah,
I'll just let them get close to me and then finish them off when I need to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I can see it working.
But I also have the Farsight Enclave stratagem with my Remora Bombers.
Remora Bombers?
Oh,
no.
Yes, John.
The Remora
So I've got actually
Bombers.
damage. I got some tricky damage, and I haven't shown it all to Nick, so he's going to get surprised.
Oh my goodness. Oh, the sisters.
I'll tell him during the game.
Oh
but
no, the sisters.
I wanted to revive that Canonist. Guess what? Get her down in this phase. She's gone.
Oh no, in the movement phase.
Yep.
That's harsh. That's harsh right there.
Sisters also don't like airborne units.
They're not really.
It's
really.
like,
oh man, the vehicle parking lot pinned in again.
See, John's already going where I plan to go. They're just not coming out, John. They're stuck back there.
What are you gonna do? Bring out the multi-melt?
Are you gonna bring out the multi-melt Retributors or charge them with your
the Zephyr?
The Zephyr, which are probably in reserve?
Oh no.
John knows what's happening.
Oh man,
that's not what you want to see.
That's not what you want to see, folks. Oh boy, we'll see how it would take a miracle for Nick to get out of that.
Lose an entire turn. That silliness. Sorry for all the chaos questions, but how do you guys feel about the Heretic Astartes soup to get the Vats and Aramin in a list with Supreme Command Mortarion? Because of the position Chaos is in, I don't mind it now. Like they are on the not amazing bus.
Yep.
They kind of need allies to help them out. But overall, I don't like the concept of Aramin just hanging out in every Chaos list.
Yeah, conceptually, I hate
Death
it.
Guard character.
But competitive standpoint,
yeah.
These are the rule sets that we have right now. This is perfectly legal. While that's legal, I think you should.
Yeah.
Like, if I was writing a Chaos list, that would probably be the direction I'd go.
If I was writing the rules, though, I would put more restrictions on that.
Yeah, I would as well. Yeah. I think that needs to. But
It's
also
just,
give them some buffs. I'm not just trying to nerf Chaos here. Yeah. They don't need that.
Buff up the individual factions. Play them as if they weren't always going to be a soup army.
Exactly, and make them not rely on that to survive.
Yeah. I want John to win the RTT, but I also want him as my driving partner that Saturday.
Well, you're going to need to root for me to go 0-2 in that opening round. You know what? It's tough competition, though. Anything could happen.
Yeah, honestly, any of these lists could win.
Any of these lists could pull it off, no questions asked.
Hope you have a good March. Atlantic City Open is going to be a good time. 40K events are coming back. We all plan to be there at the Atlantic Open.
I'm very excited for that. Really looking forward to traveling a little bit again.
Yep.
Been a while.
We will all be vaccinated by then as well.
Yes, we will. Goodness gracious.
Cannot wait. Yep, Florida is opening it up on the 5th.
Yes.
So I've already pre-registered. John has as
have I.
well.
Yep.
So we are just waiting for that. Nick is
Richard
getting his.
sent me that link and I just ghosted the entire table. I was like, no, we're doing this now.
This is
This is happening now.
I want to be not at the bottom of that list.
Nope.
How would Invictors do in Dark Angels?
They'd be fine, but I don't think they get any particular benefit, frankly. Invictors are generically solid because they're a Space Marine unit, but they're not amazing. I think that you really want to have some kind of chapter special rule that helps them. Fallback and shoot really helps them a lot. Ability to fall back and charge with strats as well is great. That's what Ultramarines give them. and white scars as well. And then obviously, as Ultramarines, you get the redeploy, and that really makes their forward deployment a lot scarier in my mind. So I think that's the kind of thing you need to make Invictus viable. But we will find out exactly how much that does for them tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Flyer bases don't block. However, if I put it in a position where he needs a really high advance roll for a Rhino to get through wholly clear the aircraft, then that's only the first one that's clearing it. And
also,
now it's out in the open.
And also, 2 or more could just go 1-2.
Yep, 1-2. And
you still can't end an engagement range, even though you could theoretically move through.
Yeah.
It also limits where models could disembark from that Rhino.
Yep, exactly. Oops, the multi-melter retributors actually can't come out this turn.
Yeah.
That'll be
and also,
sick.
if you make Nick use a 6 Miracle Dice to get a Rhino out of his own deployment zone,
if he has one.
If he has one, that's true. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. But you basically be forcing them out into the open. That's Ion Tide territory.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of tricks there. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited to play that matchup. All right. How would you rank Deathwatch relics? There are 4 really good ones, so what would you leave at home?
That's the problem.
That's tough.
Okay, so 5 up Invuln Shield has to be up there. I think that's an auto take. Right?
Yeah.
5 up Invuln Shield. I really like the Tome of Ectoclades. That's my 2. I wonder what the 4th one they're thinking of this. My 3rd is probably, I think my 3rd and 4th are going to be the Vox's Spiritum generic Space Marine one, and the Vulcan Pattern Auspicator. 6-inch aura +1 to hit against fly.
Yeah.
Those 2 are the 2 I consider next.
Is Ignoring Cover a Warlord trait?
That's a Warlord trait.
The Warlord traits
do
are
100%. The Warlord traits are also strong. It's like you take a lot. So I think I go with the Vorkin Pattern Auspexcator thing.
Yeah.
I think I do
Which
that.
card now?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yep. I want to hit Raiders on 2s, bust out there, have my whole army start splitting fire and just dropping boats.
Yep.
That's what I want in my life. Wait till he lightning fasts, immediately ignore negatives on that boat, and then because it's an Eldar unit, you have a specific stratagem for that, and then just keep going, hitting on 2s, hitting on 2s, hitting on 2s.
Yep.
With the captain and potential rerolls against dedicated transports, you can really pop a lot of the boats at once.
How do the Relic Terminators with Stormbolters, Lightning Claws seem against Dark Eldar?
I am taking them into Dark Eldar because I think that they're cheaper, just as good against the shooting, really. You can still make the -1 damage, which means liquefier guns, they're not doing nearly as much. They're just not efficient at all. And then, against Dark Lances, you still have a 4 pinball, a failed one, it probably kills you. But, you're still transhuman and 4 pinballs, so it's not that likely. Because you have Azrael nearby in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And you just add a lot more firepower, where a 10-man Relic Terminator squad has very good odds of just dropping a Raider by itself. And that's just important, because, against Dark Eldar, I think popping the boats is one of the most important things you can do.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to... Early, yeah, or get a head start on popping those boats. And that's what I'm trying to build into my army, is I'm trying to build boat popping capabilities, because I need the boats to pop.
James is right. The Beacon Angelus is another very good record.
That is really good, yeah. I think
tough.
the Beacon might be my number 4, which sucks, because the Beacon is cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't need it as much.
Okay. Yeah, I think with the Drukari meta, you actually puts that
yeah,
Volcamer thing up.
Volcamer Pattern Auspexcator.
Yeah, whatever it is.
You know what?
Some special
I
weapon.
am curious. I would like to know what it is actually called.
But thank you so much for joining us. We have some exciting stuff coming up. Obviously, we have the stream matches tomorrow, which are going to be Ultramarines into Drukari. Brand new Drukari stuff once again. See if it can take down the Ultramarines, which John is very excited about. And then in the War Room, it's going to be Tyranids. John's going to try out some of the shooting big nids versus my Admech, Metallica once again. So another great matchup. That's in the War Room. And then next week, we are going to have the Streamhouse RTT starting on Tuesday. If you want to check out the bracket, you can check it out on the challenge bracket. Check out our social media for those links. And then also tonight, the Gleam campaign that we're running, over $3,000 of prize support giveaway, is going to be on offer. So tons of stuff from us and our sponsors. You can check out the full details when we post about it tonight. But all you have to do, visit our different social media sites through the Gleam campaign, and then follow us, subscribe, etc. And by doing so, you'll add entries into the contest, and then you could end up winning some really cool stuff.
I am very impressed with myself. It is Vorkin Pattern Auspicator.
Yep.
I really thought I was going to mess that up. And the best part is that it gives the following ability, Omni Canopticon.
The Omni-Canopticon.
I'm gonna start saying
the
that.
Ever-watchful.
I'm gonna bring this and just say Omni-Canopticon.
The ever-watchful
Like,
prison.
Nick, I have Omni-Canopticon. I hit your Raiders on too, sir. Omni-Canopticon. Look it up.
Look it up. But once again, thank you so much for joining us. Really hope you join us for the games tomorrow and then for the Streamhouse RTT. And we will see you next time.
Bye.